Welcome back to Tea&Comics. This channel, I just do flip throughs of comic books, have a cup of tea. Today we're drinking some green tea, pomegranate green tea. I got my calendar mug here, old school calendar on the mug, 1987. Important year for some people like me. Okay, so today, Bloodshot Reborn. We're just going to flip through this book. I actually haven't read this in a long time. It's written by Jeff Lemire. There's lots of different artists on this series. It seems to change every arc. This actually isn't Lemire's first kind of work with the character. I'm going to go back to the Valiant miniseries. That is the first kind of work that he did with the character Bloodshot, and it's actually kind of an intro to this series. And then he went on to do this series for, 20-some issues. We did a mini-series called Bloodshot USA, and now he's working on Bloodshot Salvation. So he's been with the character for a while now. So let's just flip this guy open. Here's the cover first. It's the Bloodshot symbol, just peeling away with a bunch of bodies. Pretty effective with just the all-white. I like it a lot. So here's our introduction to Bloodshot. Again, this is the #1 issue, a lot of establishing backstory kind of things, just like we saw with the Aquaman issue. This is kind of flashback, I believe. Him just flashing back to what he was like before, just killing dudes, lots of killing. And also explaining kind of his abilities. So he's got nanites in his blood, which are like essentially nanorobots that can heal him and repair him and administer drugs and stuff like that, I believe. If you ever played like Metal Gear Solid, they have a similar concept in that too. Anyway, so he's got these pulsing through his blood, and it essentially makes him superhuman to the point that he can somehow take a bullet right through his head. And here's the shot. Boom. And this is a pretty cool shot too, where it's just the guy that shot him still standing there looking, but he's got no face or head. And then heals right up. And it's bad news for the guy that shot him. So it's just a flashback onto what he was like, because he's explaining that he used to be pretty much brainwashed too by the people that put those nanites in his blood. Project Rising Spirit, I believe it's called. He was pretty much brainwashed by them. But he broke free of that. He ended up fighting as like a superhero along these other heroes of the Valiant universe. Ninjak and Livewire, I think her name is. I'm not like super familiar with a lot of these characters. I've mostly just read like Bloodshot from Valiant. Anyway, then this is from the Valiant miniseries. There was this enemy here. I think it's like the Immortal Enemy or something like that. He came, was causing a lot of trouble for the Valiant universe, and then this is the Geomancer, who's an important character in the Valiant universe as well, named Kay. They, I guess, fall in love during this story. He defeats the enemy, but Kay dies. And in her death, she's able to release Bloodshot from his nanites. And so that's where we kind of come to now. Is now she's dead, but he loved her. And the nanites are gone in his blood. So he's just kind of a normal dude now. But he can't really handle that. Like he doesn't really know how to deal with that situation in his life. So he ends up at this hotel. And he kind of works there, I believe. So here's like the nice intro. We're in Colorado. Yeah, so he's at this hotel. He's kind of just the maintenance guy there. Here he is like painting or fixing the sign or something. And he just works for this lady who owns it. This is her grandson, rot in his mind with video games. But that's his day job. He's haunted as well. So he's looking at this game and he's seeing this weird little character that kind of looks like Bloodshot with a little symbol, and he's like, man, am I going nuts? Anyway, he ends up spending his nights in the hotel room. Just drowning himself. Alcohol, drugs. He can't get stuff like this out of his head. It's just, he's pretty messed up from all the stuff he did as Bloodshot. Some of it was out of his control. But it's just how it goes. He's not doing good. This is a beauty shot as well. Okay. He has the file as well. I don't know exactly when he got this, but this is essentially from Project Rising Spirit. It's the Bloodshot file, Project Bloodshot. And it has presumably has all his information of his past life before he got into the Bloodshot program and got those nanites and everything. And he's too afraid to open it. So he just kind of continues to drown himself in alcohol. But as he's watching TV, he keeps seeing this dude, this little mini Bloodshot guy. And he thinks, am I hallucinating? What's wrong with me? Comes back from kind of washing his face, sees himself as Bloodshot in the mirror. He's definitely not doing well, but he's on a lot of drugs and alcohol. Comes to bed, and there's Kay. That's the geomancer from the first page, from the Valiant miniseries that he was in love with. He's like, she's dead. I can't possibly see her. I must be hallucinating. And she essentially, is talking to him, and he freaks out. He's like, no, you're not real. And, she seems pretty real to him there. So is she real? That's kind of the thing. Is he just imagining? Next morning, she's not there. So clearly it's his imagination. This kid is starting to look kind of crazy. He's playing these games, and that's what happens when you play video games, I guess. You go nuts. So here he is, and this is when the story kind of takes off now. So he's living at this hotel. He's obviously messed up. He's hallucinating. He's doing a lot of drugs, drinking alcohol. Doesn't have his abilities anymore, but on TV he sees that there's this killer that was caught on a camera in a mass shooting, and look at that. Dude kind of looks like a little Bloodshot. And I think he realizes right away that something's wrong, because that's Bloodshot. That's a Bloodshot looking guy that's killing people. So he runs out, throws on TV to find out more about it. While he's watching the feature, boom, this little dude shows up again, introduces himself as Blood Squirt. It's another hallucination. This kind of is showing that, Bloodshot has lost his mind. Anyway, this dude pesters him quite a bit. He ends up screaming at him, "I'm not Bloodshot." I think this dude at this point in the book's kind of explaining it's obviously his hallucination, but this hallucination is explaining to Ray kind of what I already knows, is that these nanites that were removed from him must have gone somewhere. And so if that serial killer looks like a Bloodshot, that means that guy probably has some of the nanites that were removed from Ray. Oh, sorry, Ray is the name of Bloodshot, Ray Garrison. Anyway, he figures, I need to do something about this. So that night he gets his stuff together and he's like, let's go do this. And in the background, Bloodshot, Blood Squirt, and Kay are there. And so he said, let's go. It's a team thing now, because he's totally messed up, hallucinating, but he's got to deal with this situation. So he takes off. There's some cool behind the scenes stuff in this book as well. The making of. There's some script stuff from Lemire. It's a nice little first issue from Valiant. That's about it. This book it's good. It's really well drawn, and the story's fun. This whole series is actually really good. It has some good story arcs, some interesting stuff with him hunting down that Bloodshot clone, or not clone, but serial killer, and then there happens to be some more as well. So he has to hunt some more of them in this first arc. And it goes some interesting places. I like this a lot. I have it all up until the new stuff that's coming out right now, Bloodshot Salvation. So if you're interested in Bloodshot Reborn, you can find it anywhere. You can find the trades, or there's probably hardcover collections, and just obviously Comixology and online like that. So this is it's been a good one. Still experimenting with this format of flipping through books. I don't know how little or how much detail I should be giving on the pages. Feels to me that it's just kind of fun just to give an overview, flip through, show some of the artwork off, and just relax and look at books. Not really, just kind of doing it for fun, and want to introduce people to different series, new series that maybe they haven't checked out before, and they just want a preview of maybe the first issue or something like that. So still playing around with the format, but it's pretty fun. I enjoy it. So if anyone actually watches this, just let me know if you like this or like what changes I could possibly make. And yeah, until next time, take care.